Let's talk about Mark Carney's housing plan. Would you believe me if I told you he already had this thought out before even becoming Prime Minister? Let's go to their website first, where they claim it's the most ambitious housing plan since the Second World War. Now, you can all pause to read this, but I just want to point out BCH, as they are very important. As they're not the ones physically going to build these homes, they're the ones giving out the contracts to the private companies who are going to build the homes. But this is what I want to talk about. It's from March of 2024, before Mark Carney even decided to become Prime Minister. Let's see what it's got inside. Blueprint for more and better housing. And this is on the Task Force for Housing and Climate, which we already know that everything to do with Mark Carney has something to do with carbon emissions or the climate crisis. And we know he uses the word crisis all the time. From now on, listen to when he speaks. He always says things about crisis. Not to mention that he's been talking about climate change and started this whole thing over a decade ago. His wife, almost 2 decades ago, along with his buddy, King Charles. And that's for another story. Now, before I get started on this, I just want to remind everybody, if you haven't seen my other videos, he was the informal economic advisor for the COVID-19 pandemic recovery. Then in 2024, he became on the books officially as the economic advisor to Justin Trudeau. So for 5 years, he has been influencing and calling the shots for the Liberal government. And it is well documented. I already showed it. So don't even open up your mouth to try and tell me I'm a liar. Now, scrolling down, you see all the collaborating partners, the funding partners. I do want to point out that Suncor, Brookfield Asset Management, actually owns their head office building, and they're leasing from them. Now, the first section is just a letter that is urging the Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau at the time, all the premiers and, all across the provinces to act on this urgently. But when you look at the people that are presenting this, look at these signatures. Yeah, Mark Carney, Canada 2020. Which, if you don't know who they are, I did a video already. They are the think tank policymakers for Canada. And Mark Carney's wife is on there as well. He was chair of that group. His wife is still on the board of that group. And within that group, a lot of the carbon pricing policies were actually made up and pushed through because of that group. But among other things, like Glasgow as well. Now at the top it says, Dear Prime Minister, Premiers, Mayors, Cabinet Ministers, and Councillors across Canada. So the beginning of this is just a letter that's directed specifically to them. Ironically, he's now Prime Minister a few months later. And the third paragraph down, there's some words in there that kind of stood out to me, like make it low carbon, making it resilient to the worst climate change crisis, and that they want to build 5.8 million homes before 2030. And remember, Mark Carney's part of this group. They came up with this plan together, which doesn't align to what he's saying today with wanting to build 500,000 homes per year. This is just over 1 million homes per year. Now, all these houses will be factory-built housing, not the traditional framers out there building it straight from scratch. All from selected companies that they pick that are in line with carbon emissions. He wants a rebalanced immigration strategy that increases the number of skilled trade workers and exempts skilled trade programs from international student visa caps. All in line with Century Initiative, which he was also on board with. And if you don't know what that is, I made the video. Go check it on my YouTube channel, Instagram, or Twitter X. But essentially, by 2100, they want 100 million people in Canada, and they're going to push the immigration over people who are here and relying on them to produce babies. All because our society fails to produce babies. And all these houses will come from a procurement strategy for homes in the CMHC's pre-approved catalog, including guaranteed minimum orders. They also want the federal government to provide detailed annual population forecasts, incorporating policy developments such as changes to immigration targets, which should be used as the basis for housing targets for each order of government, with initiatives provided to governments that exceed their annual targets. And it's not just federal, they want to do the exact same thing for provincial governments as well as municipal governments. And the reason why they structure it out like this is because things have to be approved in each province as well as a whole in Canada. It's just the way our country works. Which I know you've heard this, but Mark Carney wants to unify all provinces together so the federal government can make the decision. Down in this section for the federal government, actions the federal government should take in this area: legalize walkable, accessible, inclusive, transit-rich, climate-friendly neighborhoods. And I don't know if anybody's looked into 15-minute cities. The World Economic Forum, which I'll show you in a few minutes, that's exactly what they're saying here. They state that in many cases, existing zoning regulations and rules, such as parking minimums, make it illegal or economically unavailable to create great climate-friendly neighborhoods accessible to all. And they just sell it off by saying climate this, climate that, carbon this, carbon that, so people just don't question what is actually going on. Now pay attention. Governments should ensure that rules allow for building of great neighborhoods while also ensuring that those neighborhoods have the necessary infrastructure to support the population, from sewers to green infrastructure such as parks and trees. They want a high density population in concentrated cities. And specifically this one, utilize hazard maps to ensure no new housing is built in high risk areas prone to climate impacts, in particularly flooding and wildfires. So, not living out in the country. This is setting the stage to push you into a 15-minute city. And you can pause to read this part. I got a lot to still go through it. I don't have enough time, but this is for provincial governments. Now, looking into the World Economic Forum, anybody can do this for 15-minute cities, Agenda 2030. And as they stated on their social X, the 15-minute city concept, which implies having all necessary amenities within a short walk, bike ride, or public transit trip from one home, has been a powerful tool for urban planners. And we know Mark Carney is part of the World Economic Forum and like most of the liberal government and some of the conservative government as well. Now, this post got so much feedback. Just go look at the 138 quotes. You'll understand why they shut off their comment section. People don't want to live in a 15-minute city. Some maybe, but majority of the population are turning this down. Now let's add in that Mark Carney's Brookfield Asset Management actually acquired Modular Home, which want to expand into Canada. I went to the Wayback Machine to go look at the Task Force for Housing and Climate to see if I could find Mark Carney on there. And yes, and he was listed as chair for Brookfield Asset Management. So he went in there knowing, as he is ESG head of investment for sustainability, that he knows what he was doing here and trying to get the deal to get pushed through. As they stated, they're thrilled to welcome Mark and the others to bring the valuable insights that will enrich the group's discussions and strengthen our final recommendations. Together, we're confident we can help governments in Canada get housing right. I bet you can. Now, I got a lot to go through, but this is from the Ottawa website. It's a PDF. You can download it, read it. You can see that it aligns with a 15-minute city. Government of Canada website, Smart City Challenge. They awarded it to 4 cities. That was back in 2019. It's more advanced now, but they didn't complete their project. I want to show you the homes, so go read through the Justin Trudeau's thing back in April of 2024. All of it aligns with what I just told you. Only they want everything kept on federal land. Even their old federal offices, they want to turn them into homes. What happens when you're renting from the government? I'll leave that with you. Now here's a website that does prefab homes. Give you an idea of what they're worth. Can cost anywhere from $100,000 to $500,000. Here's one package, the North Star package. This is what the home looks like. Pretty normal home. That runs you about $800,000. Here's a smaller one, the Hudson package, 1,500 square feet for $500,000. Then the Modern Living package, only 718 square feet for $500,000. Now, how affordable will these be? How big will they be for the affordability? Why are they trying to concentrate us all into a city? And why is climate change always at the top of everything they say? In my opinion, it's the easiest way to get you to comply. Tell you there's a crisis, so then you don't even question it. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section.